Before we close, we ask all our guests a question at the end. If you could imagine your future self, your actualized, fulfilled future self, coming back to you today with a message, what would you hope it would be?
So I think my answer to that question would be use the fact that you are a woman of color to create a platform where you are able to spread a message of hope and positivity for other women of color to be able to break free from the kind of oppressive and belittling kind of constructs that we have had with our upbringing. And that is literally just to bring that positivity and hope and spread a message that actually, you know what, you do have the potential. You can reach whichever heights you want, and it doesn't matter what your background is and what you've studied. It's using that empowerment to really, be authentic and use your platform to be able to speak out, which is something that I have struggled with.
Yay! With pom-poms. It's like, you're doing great. I think her being my biggest cheerleader and me imagining her as being that, with all her wiseness and all her whateverness, I think just every time I think of her is thinking of her as a cheerleader. That kind of gives me, the courage to keep going, because that's what I do when I think of my past self. And if I can connect with my past self in that way, the best thing I can do for her is, woohoo, you're doing great. I'm so glad that you didn't give up and you've made it all the way. Welcome.
Believe in yourself. You're your biggest fan and you're also your worst critic. Believe in yourself. You've always been amazing until now. Why would you ever stop?
So I think what I am right now was also a future version that used to speak to me when I was in that very lost, I'm getting emotional as I'm saying that, you know, all those moments of my life where, nothing was making sense to me. I could not hold on to my mom, dad, my siblings, my friends, my partners. Nothing was making sense to me. So it was a very, very lonely journey. So I know for sure that what I am right now is a future version from that perspective, right? And I think I do have another version also, but at the moment, I think wherever I am, I feel quite whole. That that is the place I feel I am in right now. And probably the future version would want me to remain like a child, remain curious, never give up on yourself kind of a message, because I know there is an infinite versions of us, across timelines. And I know for sure that we are all timeless. There is no restriction of time, and that there is less time to do anything kind of a mindset. I don't believe in it anymore. I think you need to be really mindful of where you are right now and pick up, gentle gentleness out of it, or flowers and joys out of it, and colors out of it, and make the best use of it.
It's interesting that you bring up, right, this concept of nothing being linear. And I kind of had a vision of what that feels like, especially if we believe in the concept that we're living multiple lives and they're all happening at the same time. Then how does that even make sense? And the picture that came to my mind, this was many years ago, was that if all these things are happening at the same time, and you think of a spotlight as your consciousness, the spotlight is on what you're feeling right now, on this life. That's where your consciousness is residing. And sometimes even within the space of a life, your consciousness can shift from one to another. And so it's about where that spotlight is focused in this moment.
True.
So what I would want to know, Bim, is how do you actually grasp the entirety of this experience into this one life? How can we the experience that the soul has, how can we feel a bit of it in this life so that we know what it is that we're working towards? Because in so many ways we're just walking blind, right? Every day unfolds in front of us, and it's a double-edged sword, right? Because you want to know, for example, would you want to know today when you're going to die?
That'll probably be a different conversation, but yes, I would.
I would too. I would too, right?
Right.
So you can
Okay,
see, so
great.
there's this desire to know what's on the other side, but
Right.
actually so much of the beauty is in letting the path unfold. So it kind of a dichotomy, right? So what
True.
I would want to know is what's going to happen. And actually I don't really want to know because I want to experience it as it's happening. So there's your
Sure.
answer.
Sure.
I
That
hope
that's
that she
fair.
says that she's lived her life fully. Absolutely fully, every single moment. You know, when I sit and talk to my kids now, I'm not scrolling on the phone. I'm listening to what they're saying. When I'm holding my husband's hand, I'm trying to feel the warmth of that hand. There are times when me and Minna sit in a lounge and we go on for hours without talking to each other, but there is a silence that we both understand now. I can lie in my mother's lap and not say a thing, but I know that I have that comfort. You know, I have beautiful memories from my in-laws. I have so much that I can live my life on, and if I close my eyes, I just want to go through those memories. And it takes me back to my childhood where, you know, I'm still wondering, I'm still curious, full of curiosity. And I'm happy, I'm positive, and I'm looking back and saying, you know, I did what I came here to do, that I had a purpose. And this is what I identify myself with, not with the labels that everybody else has given me, not with the job I do at work, not with what my boss thinks of me or my colleagues think of me. It's what I think of myself and how I gave back.
Honestly, I would hope that she says that she's proud of what I've achieved so far, because I've always been, you know, a lot of people says, you know, do you realize, you know, what you've done? And I'm like, it's nothing. Like, it's just, and sometimes I never give ourselves enough credit, you know, and I genuinely would like to be really proud of myself and of the journey that I've been on and what I've achieved, and what I've allowed myself, you know, to become, and to do, and just keep on going.
Well, I'm not going to lie. The first voice that I hear in my head is saying, I think the future self would be saying, I'm glad you didn't give up on the novels.
Oh, I love that. All right, beautiful. So there's your sign, there's your nudge, there's your validation. I'm so happy to hear that because honestly, my future self would say the same to you because I love reading your work. So
Thank you
please
very much.
continue.
That really means a lot.
As simple as like you're safe and you're loved. It's as simple.
Beautiful.
I think what safety is. When people talk about love, I think it's you know, it all comes down to feeling safe.
True.
And when we feel safe, I guess we open up our capacity to receive. And when we feel threatened by our past experiences, by what might happen in the future, by the fears, you know, you can either always think about the worst case, or you can either just completely feel safe knowing that whatever is in alignment for you will never pass you by. And I think you need the safety before you need
Yes,
faith. So I
absolutely.
think safety has been my keyword, and so I would say we're safe and first, and you're loved. And you're loved
Beautiful.
not for what you've achieved, not
Yeah.
for who you are associated with, or not for where you travel to. You're loved for just being you. So I think that also allows us to accept ourselves, to rest when we need to rest, not feel guilt.
Yes.
And so I think
Yes.
it comes down to feeling safe.
You know what? If she's my most actualized, fulfilled, best version of myself in the future, she's going to just say, you did good, and just keep going with what you're doing. I'm not going to second guess
Amazing.
myself. I'm not going to try and, that's what she's going to say. You did good. Keep going.
The first thing that came to me was like, I'm glad that you started believing in your intuition.
Yeah,
Like,
beautiful.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And that you that you took some risks that felt really unsettling, but
Yes.
take them no matter
Beautiful.
what. Yeah.